Well, it's not at all what we have set as an expectation across the board for our sports, but it's the third time in 4 years. And what's should be concerning is that becomes a trend, not a happenstance circumstance. So while we've done much to improve facilities, coaches, scheduling strategies, and I think we saw progress this year, we're still not where we want to be.
Do you blame the committee for that? Do you think like coaches have a good understanding of what the committee is actually looking for? Because it seems like every year they send a mixed message.
Well, the committee has a difficult job, and I know because I serve on some NCAA committees, and what is out there and people's reaction from their perspective is not always consistent with the facts. Yet, there are some things that we need to seek clarification regarding, some outcomes that don't seem exactly as what we would have expected. Rather than simply issue press statements on that, we want to understand, because long term we have to improve.
LSU elected to turn down an invitation to the NIT. Was that disappointing for you? Did they consult with the conference at all on that?
They let us know of their perspective, and we had a similar issue with football in Missouri when 5 and 7 teams with strong academic performance were bowl eligible. And we communicated and said, you know what, just given the circumstance, that's not the direction we want to pursue. And in the environment and in the circumstance we're talking about, that's understandable.
Greg, I'm sure you've either seen or heard some of the comments that Coach Calipari made yesterday. He was pretty frustrated about the seeding. He seemed to put at least a little bit of the blame on the league for having the championship game on a Sunday. It seemed like that didn't help him get a bump. What was your kind of reaction to his comments, and is there any kind of truth to Sunday maybe not helping SEC teams getting a bump from Selection Sunday?
Well, we don't credit Sunday for the circumstances where we had number 1 seeds. So I want to be careful not to simply blame Sunday. John and I have talked about that repeatedly, and I understand his concerns. We do have a feature opportunity there, though, and we just have to be balanced in our perspective. But I understand and respect John's concerns and his perspective, and I'm sure it'll be a topic of continuing discussion.
I think it's been about a year this past weekend that you got elected. I know you didn't kind of take in the job until a few months later, but what has this kind of first year been like in terms of expectations of what you've been able to do?
Yeah, it's in many ways it's been great. The selection show was a bit of a downer, and I haven't had many of those, fortunately. I think we've made progress on a number of fronts. I think what we saw in Nashville this weekend, the way we featured the young people on our men's basketball teams the week prior, and women's basketball in Jacksonville is great evidence of progress. We've engaged the Richards Group from Dallas to determine how better we can even feature our universities and our people. And we won a football championship, came close over the weekend, and a couple track and field championships. So we continue to move along. A lot of issues out there, but we continue to make progress as a conference.
Cal put on a great show on ESPN yesterday, and another thing that he had was the 4 seed versus the 3 seed with Texas A&M. Kind of 2 conference teams kind of taking a jab, one guy at another.
Well, I think Texas A&M's 3 seeds merited, and I was surprised that Kentucky wasn't at that level as well. And John's good for a show all the time. So.
And finally, South Carolina not getting in. I know that had to have been frustrating.
Well, I think we could have made relevant cases for a number of teams. South Carolina seems, from our perspective, to be the next up. There's probably a couple in that we asked some questions about. Non-conference scheduling strength has been a focus, and that's probably one of the points of differential that was used by the committee. But there are others in the field and at-large bases where you look at their non-conference scheduling strength, and it creates question marks about the view and the treatment. But it stings. We've got to get better. We have to improve across the board so that when our non-conference schedules are strong, we have to win those games. It's not enough just to play those games. We have to win those games. And then when teams come into conference play with strong both perceptions and percentages from a rating standpoint, that it magnifies itself throughout January and February into Selection Day.